Hey Grace Church, Michael Campbell here, pastor of Children's Ministries. Hey, I just wanted to go over this Sunday's lesson that your kids are going to be going through, but give you some context with the story on how it applies to them, and most certainly how it applies to you as a parent, a guardian, and even personally, how we take the story and apply it to our own hearts. Because as always, you can't properly disciple unless you are discipling yourself in a way and following Jesus personally. So here's the story. It is Jesus changing forms. This is the Mount of Transfiguration. So Jesus is praying, and they go to the top of the mountain with Peter, James, and John. And they fall asleep, but Jesus is deep in prayer. And then all of a sudden, Moses and Elijah show up, which is amazing. But I think it's really cool that Moses represents the law of the Old Testament, and Elijah represents the prophets. Remember on the road to Emmaus where Jesus was talking to the guys after he was raised from the dead, and he spoke of the scriptures, the law and the prophets and everything concerning him. So it's cool seeing the law, the prophets, all culminating with Jesus, because Moses was the one who talked and was shown the glory of the Lord. And then we have Elijah, who preached about the glory of the Lord. And then the glory of the Lord is actually manifested in Jesus Christ himself. So immediately, just in all of his glory, it's called the Shekinah glory, that cloud, that presence, that happens here. And this is when the disciples wake up, and Peter, of all people, is like, all right, this is amazing. Let's set up a tabernacle so we can, it's good for us to be here. Let's make the most of it. And as he's talking, immediately God interrupts. And he's like, Peter, this is my beloved son, who I'm well pleased. And if you remember that comes from, remember when Jesus went baptized and the clouds opened up and the Holy Spirit descended like a dove, and then God spoke the same words. It is another affirmation that Jesus is God, and that he is pleasing to the Father. But as he's saying that he's well pleased with Jesus, he says, hear him. So don't only hear the law and don't only hear the prophets, because it might have been really easy for the disciples to focus on Elijah and Moses. I mean, who wouldn't? It's crazy because they already knew Jesus but didn't know them, but they recognized him. And God says, hear him. Hear Jesus. Jesus is the one that we should focus on. And the Old Testament and prophets and New Testament, all of scriptures bear witness about Jesus. John chapter 5, verse 39. And it's a really cool story. Hopefully these questions I'm about to ask help with how you disciple your family and be able to engage in conversations like that. So here are the 3 questions for this week. How do you respond when you see something amazing? How do you respond when you see something amazing? That'll be fun to hear the kids' answers. The second question, how should we respond to God's presence? Lastly, how does Jesus change us when we follow him? This is one of those stories where you would love to see this, because Jesus, before they woke up, was talking with Moses and Elijah about his coming resurrection. And the disciples are all giddy about it. And they're like, hey, can we just tell everybody what happened? And Jesus is like, do not tell anybody that this happened until after I rose from the dead. So Jesus was already talking about the need for him to die and to be raised again into a new glory. But hopefully this helps for this week. I've learned a lot through this study, and hopefully it creates good conversations with you and the family. But until next week, God bless and take care.